Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, got some more summoning for you guys, and of course, you guys know, we're going to be going for Ocean Breeze Luluca. Now, before we begin, I know people are very upset with the side story that's associated with her, but that doesn't detract from the fact that I think she is a pretty good unit. I have not tested her, obviously. I don't have her, but I haven't seen people test her yet in RTA, but people have been saying that she's pretty good in Arena and Guild Wars, so we'll see how that works out. So let's go in for our summons. Now hopefully I get a copy of her artifact as well. I really want more than one of her artifact because it is really nice. It's basically an Eternus, but for non-attack skills. Alright, that's a free summon. We unfortunately didn't get anything there, but don't worry, we're just warming up. I feel like we should also just get this out of the way for right now. I have a 4 to 5 star artifact summon ticket from my login rewards, and of course we're gonna get a strat gauntlet, but that is fine. It's more powders for me to hopefully buy another copy of Luluca's stuff from the powder shop. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We got 500 bookmarks here. Let's see what we can get. Did I see no gold spark from the book? I don't think so, right? That's a little unfortunate, but hopefully get something good here. Now, Luluca is pretty nice for, I think they're advertising it as like a C Lilia's counter, but we've already had so many of those and they haven't all been entirely effective. They're somewhat effective sometimes. Ooh, we get a Crozet, very cool. He is also in the he is also in the summer side story, which is pretty funny. But yeah, we'll see how it works in RTA. If she works out well in Arena and Guild Wars, that's gonna be quite cool as well. Nice, got Corinne. She's also in the side story, makes an appearance. We're just gonna get all the summer units, right? That's pretty cool. But for those of you guys who don't know what Luluca does by now, she is a Soul Weaver. She's an Earth Soul Weaver. And she can be built with really high resistance. With the resistance, you kind of just want to make sure that she can cleanse the team. Her S3 can cleanse 2 debuffs from herself and, you know, the whole team. And she's pretty good. She'll give a defense buff to everybody. Now, her passive allows her to gain 2 focus. Her S3 gives her 3 focus. And she gains 2 focus when an opponent on the other side uses a non-attack skill. So anything like C Lilius, Ron, or anything like that. And she'll gain combat readiness, and she'll push herself up. And so what you're trying to do with her is essentially trying to get the cleanses of the debuffs, and get a defense buff up to kind of deter the aggro, deter the cleave, right? Kind of mitigate some of the damage that you'll be facing. Which I think is pretty solid. We'll be testing her out very shortly, if we can get her, actually. But she seems to be pretty good. Her S1 is kind of like Mediator Cowrix, so if you attack, the unit with the highest combat readiness gets pushed up, which is not too bad either. Now, Luluca also gives this unique buff called Ice Cream. She just hands out ice cream to everybody, which is quite nice. And the ice cream buff is whenever you're hit, it's kind of like a Guardian Ice Crystals, except there's no condition. It's just the next time you're hit, you're going to recover, like, I think 20% or whatever of your max health, right? So it'll keep your units alive. It's actually a pretty unique healing skill. I kind of like it. But then she also couples well with her artifact. So her artifact is whenever an opponent uses a non-attack skill, you get to increase your combat readiness. The thing I like about this artifact is that it gives just resistance to everybody, right? Or sorry, resistance to the caster, the person who's holding it. But I would like to see more of these things where artifacts give resistance to Soul Weavers, because Soul Weavers have a hard time against debuffers. I don't know if you realize this. But unless you have a really high resist cleanser, like in my case, I use DJB. Oh, nice, we got a rose. In my case, I use DJB. I know some people, a lot of people use Destina, for example, but she's usually built a bit slower. On the faster end, you have ML Calric, who's not even a Soul Weaver, but he is one of the most popular cleansers out there. You got Dilibet as well. But again, they're warriors, right? You don't really see all too many Soul Weavers that are super viable in the meta, and I think it's because of the stranglehold that these openers have, right? You have Lua, C. Lilius, Zio, Ron even, because he can Soul Burn and ignore res, right? You have so many of these units, and it's so much easier to build effectiveness than it is to build resistance. So it's nice to see that Smilegate's teching on this resist in the artifacts. I would also just like to see some sort of change to Soul Weavers in general. I would say something like a flat, just all Soul Weavers get 50% resist. Just add it onto their base stats. It would be something something along those lines, right? That's not a really well thought out idea, but I think it's a pretty simple solution that isn't so convoluted. That can help Soul Weavers be a bit more viable, right? We did see an influx of Soul Weaver use in RTA when they gave them the extra speed, when they were giving speed to random classes, right? Soul Weavers got one, and you know, getting an extra 7 speed, pretty huge, right? DN actually was meta for a very long time. That's when I used DN ARAS a lot, because of that. So it's pretty cool. I want to see them do more with things like that. Oh, here we go. Is that a 5-star here? Let's see, there's a... You guys were telling me that when you see really big glows and golden sparks and stuff, that it should be a 5-star. Oh, here we go. It's an artifact. Can we get Lulucas? No, that's actually a Rosa Hargana. Getting too excited over here. Maybe I didn't get a 5-star. Maybe that's all I got. I also love how they show the statues now. It kind of reminds me of Fate Grand Order, for those of you guys who have played that game. Fate Grand Order can show you the class of the servant that you're about to summon. Oh, here we go! Wait, that's a Soul Weaver! Oh, there you go! There we go. Ocean Breeze Luluca managed to snag her. Now, here's the problem. I did not pull a copy of her artifact. That kind of sucks, actually, because I wanted a copy of it from the summons. I know I can buy one from the powder shop, but I wanted more than one because I feel like it's gonna be very strong. Let's see how many bookmarks we have. 250 bookmarks left. Do we go for it? Might as well, right? Let's just go ahead and dump the rest of these bookmarks in. Do I advise you guys to go for multiple copies? Probably not. You know, if you have a spare Lulucas laying around, you can imprint your Luluca here with them. Don't chase artifacts. Chasing artifacts is typically not a good idea because there is no artifact pity, right? I think I did see a pretty nice spark though for this. Ooh, nice, we got Junie. I don't think I have her. Do I have her SSS? I don't know. But I saw that golden spark, which means we might be getting another 5-star. Maybe we're lucky here. If I can get an artifact, I'm backing out immediately, right? I'm going no further. Because keep in mind, you have to save for the other Summer Limited that's going to be coming up. Oh! Artifact? Oh! Yes! Oh, we got super lucky! Oh, sweet! Okay. Yeah, we're backing out after this one. I was expecting to have to blow through the rest of my bookmarks. I had about 500 bookmarks saved. And I haven't done too much of the side story as of yet, but hopefully, you know, we can... Oh my god, did I get another? Okay. I was like, that was a Soul Weaver statue. But no, we got Angelica, who again is part of the side story. We're just getting the entire summer side story crew. Alright, there we go. So we ended up getting her and her artifact in about 300 bookmarks, which I'm very fortunate for. Hopefully you guys have good luck in her summons as well, but for now, let's move on into the showcase. Alright, so let's jump into our first showcase here against this defense team. We got C. Lilia's A. Ravi, Dilibet, and Spirit Eye Celine on the other side. But we're going to bring in our Ocean Breeze Luluca. This is the current build that I have on her, plus 15 on her artifact. We only pulled one copy, but that's quite alright. Managed to get her effect res quite high. She actually doesn't need to be incredibly fast, which I do appreciate, because she does get 25% combat readiness from her passive, and a 12% combat readiness boost from her artifact, right? So both of these rely on non-attack skills, so as long as, you know, you're going up against something like a C. Lilius or whatever, you should be able to cut fairly easily. That's like easily, what is that, 37% combat readiness? So for a 200 speed unit, you can easily cut a unit that's at 300 speed, right? So that should be no issue. We'll be taking the turn, we'll cleanse the team of our attack down debuffs, and what I'm going to do is I have Rowana here, actually going to be a little second debut for Rowana. Hopefully she can go ahead and reset this Spirit Eye Celine. I'm going to bring in my Spectre Tenebria as a source of damage, and then we're going to have our own Spirit Eye Celine to kind of tank all of these dark units and their attacks. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it, see what we can do. Hopefully, we don't get absolutely demolished here. I'm pretty confident because we have our defense buff from our Luluca that we'll be quite alright, okay? So we do get to push up with our Spirit Eye Celine, which is quite nice, and she actually moves before my Luluca, but that's okay. We can go for an S3 here, get that immortality up, and then Rowana should... So Rowana was pushed back and provoked, right? But it's fine. She's actually pretty good dark bait in this case for the C. Lilias, because now we're going to pop our S3. We can cleanse the debuffs on everybody. Get that ice cream buff. Luluca's gonna go and do her attack now. So she actually silences and puts debuffs on the opponent's team. It's okay that the Dilibet is silenced here. I know that she will cleanse after the Rowana, but we're gonna go ahead and use our S3. Hopefully this will go ahead and reset the Dilibet and the Spirit Eye Celine on the other side. Okay, there we go. Very nice. Got the reset, which means that this Dilibet won't be able to cleanse here. He gets a little dual attack, which I don't appreciate. But that's quite alright. The ice cream buff actually helped us quite a bit there. Okay, so Spirit Eye Celine is still immortal, so it's fine that she's dropped quite low in terms of her health. We're gonna use our Spectre Tenebria. She's gonna keep this ice cream buff. It doesn't fade away, which I do appreciate. And let's go ahead and finish off the Spirit Eye Celine. So once we get rid of her, we should be alright. There we go. Spirit Eye Celine is gonna be countering. We're gonna be dealing quite a decent chunk of damage here. We're on lifesteal set, so it should help out a little bit too. I think at this point I will go for the... Ooh, I don't want this... I don't know if this is a counter A Ravi, so let's just go for C. Lilius. I know that Dilibet will be countering... Or, sorry, will be hitting us anyway, so we can counter. So that's perfectly fine. Let's just go ahead and heal up to full health here. The problem with Spirit Eye Celine in this team is that I don't have an Aureus user. So without an Aureus user, it's a little iffy. It's a little dicey, right? Let's go ahead and hit the Dilibet. We'll just go ahead. This is going to get cleansed anyway. We'll hit the C. Lilius. Get some extra chip damage in there. Okay, but yeah, without a damage mitigation unit on this team, Spirit Eye Celine can go down in 2 hits, so we do rely on our healing quite a bit. Alright, A Ravi's going to S3, or Spirit Eye Celine's going to be perfectly fine here. There we go. Okay, very nice. And so now we can just kind of use our Spectre, the Soulburn, our S1. Let's finish off the C. Lilius. Oh, we actually finish off the Dilibet too. That's pretty good. Okay, there we go. So now A Ravi will attack us. We kind of lose our buff there, but that's okay. We should be able to lap this this A Ravi though. Get our S3 back up. Ooh, it is a counter A Ravi, so I do have to be careful. Let's go ahead and put the immortality back up for the team. But yeah, Luluca's a pretty decent support unit, I would say. I think at the beginning the ice cream buff actually helped out quite a bit. Alright, and now we should be able to take out this Aravi, no problem. And we get to hop in and see if we can use Luluca against any other teams out here. Alright, so I know that a lot of people say that Summer Luluca is not good into Lua, and I do agree with that. In RTA, definitely not the way to go. However, if you're confident in your resistance, I think you could probably pull her off against a Lua or something. It's an arena team like this, or even perhaps in Guild Wars. Now, of course, you can use Fire Lilius, and you can use her, on Mort's Artifact, the Ancient Dragon's Legacy, to kind of reset your whole team again, which is kind of nice. But into a team like this, I'm just going to bring in my Luluca. She's going to help defense buff the team, help keep us alive for a little bit, have a little bit of sustain and healing. And we're going to bring in Pylus as well. Now, Pylus is going to be quite nice for reducing the amount of damage that we take from the counterattacks and extra attacks, and we have Last Rider Crow. Crow's going to be here on Holy Sacrifice, just in case things go wrong, and my Bellona is going to be here on her Sigurd's Scythe. So, we're going to go into this fight here, and I just want to see what she can do into Lua. This is more of a test than anything. I haven't fought a team like this before. And let's just see what happens. So Lua's gonna go after the LR Crow. She won't ever go after the Luluca, which is nice in terms of AI play. And we resist the Lua's reset here, because my Luluca is pretty high on resistance. We're going to go ahead and use our extra skill. Now, the cool thing about Luluca is that we can proc off of, you know, a lot of non-attack skills. So things like Senya here could give us focus. Now, we're not going to get the focus stacks in that case, because she can only activate her skill every 2 turns to get that combat readiness and the focus. So you're not able to constantly just spam, right? That would be kind of busted. But hey, putting blind and silence on people is pretty good. As we see here, the Senya on the other team is blinded, did basically nothing to my units. Meru's blinded here, missing on everybody as well. It is a pretty nice little tech. So I might go after the Meru for right now. I'm going to try to get rid of her as soon as possible. If we can get rid of her, then I'm going to be resting easy. Let's go ahead and use our LR Crow's S3. Now, hopefully, we're going to get a few counterattacks from our opponents. There we go. Very nice. To reduce the cooldown duration of my S3 here. Meru's going to come back, but that is perfectly fine. I think what I'll do is I'll hit the Lua. I actually don't want her to, to stay alive. She's kind of annoying, right? But look, the defense buff with the mitigation from Pylus, with the LR Crow here and the barriers, we're living quite a few hits. It's not too shabby. Alright, with this, let me go for a hit onto the Shu. Don't really care if she counters into Luluca here. And I will soul burn this S3. Let's go into the Meru, right? This will give my whole team Vigor buff, which will also be quite nice for survival. Alright, defense buff plus Vigor buff. Yeah, we're hardly taking any damage. 700 damage from the Senya. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and hit the Senya. Hopefully she counters into my LR Crow. There we go. Get that extra turn decreases. This is basically just a glorified Guild Wars. See, right there, where the Senya went for her non-attack skill, we actually gained the combat readiness, we gained a couple more focus. Let's go for the S1 here. We gained another focus there. I know some people are actually using Luluca on a counter set to try to get those focus stacks a bit faster. I'm probably just going to end up using her as an anti-aggro, anti-cleave unit in RTA, so I don't think I need to go for a counter build. If you can manage to pull off the stats, then go for it. But my counter stats are kind of questionable, so I just stuck with speed sets and resist sets that I knew that I had access to. But let's go ahead and pop the S3 once more. So she works quite well in these slower teams, right? You can use her as a support. So let's go into the Senya here, and put that blind once more. Let's go for the Soul Burn. Got the Ice Cream buff on everybody. The one thing I will say is that Luluca kind of lacks in the healing department. You know, there's no healing from the S1 or anything. Ooh, there's a Holy Sacrifice. So the Ice Cream is the main way that we're going to be healing. So as you can see here, it's a pretty considerable chunk of healing, though. which is not too bad. You can run her on other artifacts too, for sure, but you know, that might defeat her purpose of being able to cut with her artifact that procs off of non-attack skills. But yeah, overall, not too shabby, right, into this lower team. We'll try to get one more match for you guys so you can really see how she does in various scenarios. Alright, so for a third and final little showcase match here, we're going to be going up against this Sea Lilius team. It looks like it's pretty jam-packed with damage. We got Ed, we got Balloner, and we got Aiden. Most of the other teams I'm finding on these arena defenses are quite slow and tanky, and we've already showcased a match against that, like a Lua and a Bruiser team, right? So let's go in onto this team that has a lot more damage and see what type of support Luluca can provide. So she's still on her normal build that we've been having her on, and I changed my LR Crown just slightly though. We put him, instead of on his Holy Sack, we put him on Aureus so that he can tank damage for the team. Got Karina over here because typically in an anti-cleave or anti-aggro type team, you're probably going to be bringing her in as well. She has a pretty good matchup into Ed, pretty strong into Aiden as well with her true damage, same with LR Crow. And we got our Benimaru. I put him on a Symbol of Unity instead of Sigurd's Scythe, just so we can guarantee that hit on the Aiden. But let's go ahead and jump in, see what we can do. Again, having a unit that can cut a Sea Lilius and kind of cleanse the team is quite nice. I think I should be able to cut ahead of my Benimaru as well, because my Benimaru is quite slow. So see, that extra turn comes in, Benimaru jumps forward, and there we go. Luluca gets to go. Well, let's go ahead and cleanse, and we'll attack everything here. Now, unfortunately, I think this might actually push the Aiden above my Benimaru, but that should be fine. Shouldn't be a big deal here. Ed is going to counter, but that is okay with us as well. Hopefully this doesn't go into Benimaru, but even if it does... Okay, good. It goes into the Karina here. We have a defense buff, so it barely tickles. Let's go ahead and S3 into this Aiden. Oh yeah, she's going to get absolutely deleted there. We don't even need that defense break. And all this extra damage here is gone to waste because of her invincibility on the entire team. Well, that's quite alright. It helped cleanse Ed, actually, which is pretty good, so that we can hit him on our subsequent turn. LRK gonna take the brunt of the damage here, but with that defense buff, we're looking quite good, right? Quite healthy. Now, Ed is gonna go into Luluca. She does seem like she could be an okay Earth bait here. See, she's not taking that much damage, which is pretty nice. Let's go for an S3 with LR Crown. Get that barrier up for the team if Balloner ever counters here. And we could actually just S3 into the Ed and just kind of finish him off. That defense buff helping Karina out quite a bit. I do have to say that she has pretty good synergy with defense scaling units. Like if you have Dilibet and stuff too, I think she could work out quite well with her. Having defense buff just increases the damage output of Karina and Dilibet, right? So there we go. Didn't even have to wait for Karina to proc. Looking like we're pretty healthy here. Karina's gonna proc now, get that barrier, protect the Luluca at all costs because she is precious. Alright, let's go ahead and finish off the Bellona if we can. There we go. And we just go ahead and attack the Sea Lilius here. Push up the Benimaru. With Benimaru, I might as well just go for a Soul Burn. Increase damage. There we go. Finish off the Ed. And now we can just steamroll this Sea Lilius down. But yeah, I think overall, Luluca has some pretty good application. I've already seen some people kind of use her here and there in my server, and they've been reporting back mixed results. Some people are saying that she's amazing, some people are saying that she's kind of lackluster in RTA. We'll have to test her out for ourselves. So if you're looking forward to some RTA matches with Summer Luluca, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. With that being said, guys, I'll see you all next time. Take care.